नमस्कार साथियों, जय हिंद। माय नेम इज नीरज कश्यप और आज हम लोग शुरू करने जा रहे हैं वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टॉपिक, वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग टॉपिक, दैट इज मेकिंग ऑफ द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन। सो नाउ द क्वेश्चन अराइजेस, व्हाट इज द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन? कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन होता क्या है? अ कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन इज अ डॉक्यूमेंट और अ सेट ऑफ डॉक्यूमेंट जो हमको डायरेक्ट करता है that how to govern a state or a nation. As we know that the constitution of Britain is the oldest constitution in the world. लेकिन जब हम लोग बात करते हैं रिटन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन की, देन द यूएस कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन इज द ओल्डेस्ट written constitution in the world. भारत में कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन का कैसे डेवलपमेंट हुआ वो हम लोग आज पढ़ने जा रहे हैं. सो कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन should be framed, and the framers are to be part of constituent assembly. संविधान कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंट असेंबली द्वारा फ्रेम हो, ये पहली बार हमारे देश के एक लीडर थे, कम्युनिस्ट लीडर, दैट इज नोन एज M.N. रॉय. In 1934, he was firstly suggested that Indian Constitution should be framed through the Constituent Assembly. Now, so this demand is accepted by the Indian National Congress in 1935. And Congress demanded that Constitution should be framed without external interference. In 1938, Jawaharlal Nehru also supported this demand, और इसी डिमांड के चलते हुए 1940 में अगस्त ऑफर, दैट इज अगस्त ऑफर में हमारी डिमांड को फर्स्ट टाइम एक्सेप्ट किया गया था. बट ड्यू टू सम रीजंस बात आगे नहीं बढ़ पाई. एंड इन 1942 a mission that is known as Cripps Mission also gave support for this idea of Constituent Assembly. बंद करो. Now, next series is that in 1946, a mission came to India to solve the deadlock between Muslim League Indian National Congress and British government. And the name of that mission known as Cabinet Mission. कैबिनेट मिशन। और ये मिशन जब भारत आया और उसने कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंट असेंबली को फॉर्म किया और इस कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंट असेंबली का मेन फंक्शन था टू फ्रेम द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन ऑफ इंडिया, द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन of India. Now the question arises, how the Constituent Assembly works. So the Constituent Assembly was set up by Cabinet Mission. Cabinet Mission. And the head of Cabinet Mission was Sir Stafford Cripps. Two other members also present in this mission. So the Constituent Assembly started its function from December 1946 to January 1950. That is almost 3 years. अगर हम लोग एग्जैक्टली बात करते हैं तो कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंट असेंबली ने लगभग 2 years 11 months and 18 days में अपना काम को पूरा किया। अगर हम लोग टोटल नंबर ऑफ सिटिंग ऑफ डेज की बात करते हैं तो नंबर ऑफ टोटल सिटिंग डेज विल बी 114 days, 114 days। इसके बाद हम लोग देखते हैं कि लगभग 3 वर्ष बाद कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन कैसे बना। तो कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन दैट इज इंडियन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन, और इसमें 22 parts, 8 schedules and 395 articles हुए थे। After Constitution Amendment Act, there are some certain parts also included in the parts. So present we will talk about there is 25 parts. And there are number of 4 schedule added, and today there are 12 schedule in Indian Constitution. So I think this is a brief introduction about the Constitution of India. Now चलेंगे India for just like trading, but due to some reasons and some situation, they grabbed the benefit and took into the ruling part. So here East India Company, which was established in 1600 AD, and it got the special rights from the government of Britain, which has the special right to trade in India. Means no other company except East India Company cannot trade in India, especially in Britain. In 1608, Captain William Hawkins came to the court of Jahangir. But he didn't get the permission to trade in India. But in 1613, they got it. That means East India Company got the permission to trade in India. In 1757, there was a war, that is Battle of Plassey. And in this battle, East India Company fought against Nawab of Bengal. And ultimately, East India Company become victorious due to some the traitors found in the Nawabship of Bengal. Traitors. In 1765, after the Treaty of Allahabad, they got the Diwani rights. East India, they got the Diwani rights from Bengal, Bihar, उड़ीसा, बंगाल, बिहार और उड़ीसा की दीवानी राइट्स को उनको मिल गई. एंड देन दे एस्टेब्लिश अ रूलिंग इन इंडिया बेसिकली. In 1773, when British Parliament came to know that East India Company is making a huge profit in India, so they enacted or they passed a act that is known as Regulation Act or Regulating Act. So Regulating Act of 1773 basically to control the function of East India Company in India. So now we are going to deal with the Regulating Act of 1773. So Regulating Act of 1773. This was the first act which was passed by British Parliament to control the East India Company, and it is also give provision that the members and servants of the company should not indulge in private trade. Apart from this, neither member nor servant take the gifts from the people. Very important provision is that the governor of Bengal became the Governor General of Bengal, and William Bentinck, Warren Hastings became the first Governor General of Bengal. Now, after some time, it's feel from the Parliament of British that there is some amendment in the constitution, in the function of the East India Company. So they enacted another act that is known as Pitt's India Act of 1784. So this is Pitt's India Act 1784. In this act, first time there is a distinction between the political powers and economic power of East India Company. So for this, there is the formation of new body that is called Board of Control. इसके बाद हम लोग देखते हैं कुछ समय बाद एक और एक्ट आता है which is very important for the political side in India, that is known as Charter Act of 1813 का चार्टर एक्ट। और इस एक्ट में यह बात बोला गया था कि कंपनी, that means the East India Company, should expense 1 lakh rupees per year for the education in India. इसके बाद हम लोग देखेंगे 20 साल बाद एक और एक्ट की जरूरत पड़ती है ब्रिटिश पार्लियामेंट को, दैट इज नोन एज चार्टर एक्ट ऑफ 1833। और इस एक्ट में ये बात साफ साफ बोला गया था कि देयर शुड बी एन ओपन कंपटीशन for civil services. But it is irony that this provision is just limited on the paper. There is no sense of reality of this provision. After that, a very important act came to be force, that is known as Charter Act of 1853. 1853. Now, चार्टर एक्ट ऑफ 1853 में हम लोग देखते हैं कि ये प्रोविजन किया गया था कि दिस ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी कैन बी टर्मिनेटेड फ्रॉम इंडिया एट एनी टाइम. Another very important provision from this act that the open competition for civil services exam opened, and from India the first man who became the who cleared the civil services exam, that is known as ICS exam, that is not Satyendranath Tagore. Satyendranath Tagore in 1863. And then a very important incident took place in the history of India, that is known as the revolt of 1857. The revolt of 1857, and this revolt changed the power from company to crown. और इसके बाद ब्रिटिश गवर्नमेंट डायरेक्टली रूल करने लगी. After the transition from company to crown, the first act was Indian Government Act of 1858. In this act, the crown promised that there should be local representation in the executive council. Local representation in the executive council. Another very important provision in this act that was that there is no intervention in the religious matter of the people. Now, a बहुत ही important acts के बाद आया था in 1861, that is extension of the representation in various ministries of various portfolios. So in 1861 there was a provision that the extension of local representation in various portfolios. फिर इसके बाद एक और एक्ट आएगा in 1892, in which the non-executive member have the right to ask question on the budget. So आप देख रहे हैं धीरे धीरे करके इंडियंस को थोड़ा पावर मिलने लगा है in the rule of British Crown. अब हम लोग एक इम्पोर्टेंट सेगमेंट की बात करने जा रहे हैं in 1909, 1919, in 1935। यहां से हम लोग थोड़ा हमारे जो कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन है उसका थोड़ा बेस बनेगा। In 1909, that is known as Indian Council Act, जो लेजिस्लेटिव सीट्स थी, लेजिस्लेटिव सीट्स वर इंक्रीज्ड फ्रॉम 16 to 60। इसके बाद एक और इंपॉर्टेंट यहाँ पर चेंज हुआ था, दैट इज सेपरेट इलेक्टोरेट, सेपरेट इलेक्टोरेट। दैट इज व्हाई लॉर्ड मिंटो, which is the viceroy at that time, considered as the father of communalism, father of communalism, in which Muslim can give their vote to Muslim candidate, and this system is extended in the next act, that is known as Government of India Act 1919, where there is also extension of separate electorate in the Anglo-Indian, in the Europeans, in Sikhs, and in the communal award of 1932, depressed class also get separate electorate, but thanks to the Mahatma Gandhi, and this separate electorate has been cancelled due to the Pune Pact. Now it is very important topic. It act about the Government of India Act 1919, that is Government of India Act 1919, that is more autonomy given to state or provincial। इसके बाद बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट टॉपिक और वी कैन से एक्ट आया था इन 1935, जो कि हमारे कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में एक बेंचमार्क बन गया था, और ये था गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया एक्ट 1935। इसमें हम देखेंगे कैसे चीजों का चेंजमेंट आया था। फॉर एग्जांपल, इस्टेब्लिशमेंट ऑफ आरबीआई, मोर पावर गिवन टू सेंट्रल और यूनियन गवर्नमेंट, and more autonomy given to province। After that हम लोग ये देखेंगे कि जो डायरकी था, डायरकी was abolished in province and started in सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट। तो ये जो एक्ट है बड़ी इंपॉर्टेंट है हमारे कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल के बेंचमार्क के लिए। सो ऐसे हम लोगों ने देखा था कैसे भारत में कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन की डेवलपमेंट हुआ था। एक बार फिर मैं ब्रीफ कर देता हूं कि इन 1773 दैट वाज द फर्स्ट एक्ट which was enacted by the British Parliament, और इस एक्ट के अंतर्गत ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी को कैसे कंट्रोल किया गया था। धीरे धीरे समय बीतता गया और जैसे कि एक एक्ट था 1813, इसमें पहली बार ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी को ये डायरेक्ट किया गया था कि भारतीयों के लिए पर ईयर 1 लाख रुपीज एक्सपेंस करेगा. एंड आफ्टर दैट इन 1833 दैट वाज a direction from the British Parliament that there should be an open competition for the civil services exam for Indian member also. But after 1857 the revolt, the powers transferred from company to crown, and in this phase crown promised that they will involve or engage local representation in the executive council. With the period of time, the number of Indian people got inducted in the executive council, and after some time we get the majority of the people of India in the executive council. And in 1935 there is a very good benchmark for the Indian constitution. And after that in 1946 the constitution assembly was set up by the cabinet mission, and probably 3 years it took to complete the constitution of India. And on 26 November 1949 the constitution was adopted, and on 24 January 1950 three things were added in the Constitution of India, like national anthem, national song, that is Vande Mataram, national anthem, that Janaganaman, and the President of India, that is three things added on this day, that is 24 Jan 1950. And on 26 Jan 1950 our Constitution enacted. So this is the whole scenario of the development of the Constitution of India. Hope that you will enjoy this lecture. So thank you so much. Jai Hind.